We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing till the world can sing the song, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop marching, we will not stop marching, we will not stop marching till the world can hear this song, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop praying, we will not stop praying, we will not stop praying till we all can get along, till the world can sing this song. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop shouting, we will not stop shouting, we will not stop shouting, shouting right from wrong, till the world can sing the song.
Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop chanting, we will not stop chanting, we will not stop chanting, chanting till the dawn, when the world will sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along.
We will not stop singing, we will not stop singing, we will not stop singing, till the world can sing the song, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along.
Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Cummings, and I'm one of the team of worship associates that assist with creating and providing services for South Church. Welcome one and all to South Church. Thank you for visiting and sharing your Sunday morning with us. We invite everyone, first-time viewer or long-time member, to join us for a virtual social hour immediately after the service, so you can ask any questions you may have, reflect on the service, or just chat with a new or old friend. Today's music is offered by Susan Adams, Cathy Okhuysen, and South Church Folk. Our time for all ages will be delivered by our youth assistants from Jen Del Deo. Our playful sermon today will be delivered by Anna Howard. Anna was born and raised in Moscow, Russia, coming to the US in 1992. As with many of us, Anna has found a connection to our community through small group ministry and recently joined the Endowment Committee and Social Justice System. In fact, we have Anna to thank for the role of lead organizer of January's Women's March in Portsmouth.
Worship Associate Brian Bliss is offering an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction class this summer and will donate 50% of the tuition paid by any member of South Church back into the South Church community. The orientation is Tuesday, June 30th at 9 a.m., and the class runs on Tuesdays, July 7th through August 25th from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. You can find out more about the class and sign up at blissmindfulness.com. Our Congolese guest is thriving and very appreciative of our welcome, the prepared meals, the conversation, and support that we provide. Our next step is to find him a host home where he can stay until his work authorization arrives. He is set to leave on July 1st, but anyone with a lead for a host home should please contact Jim Verschuren at jd.verschuren@gmail.com.
In October of 2014, I sent an email to Rebecca Hennessy, who was the senior youth advisor at the time, and said, I have some really good news about youth group to share with you. Cat news, maybe, was her reply. Yep, I wrote back. She's totally awesome and hired, so we have a wise one to teach the ways. It was true. Cat Lyons has been a gift to our congregation for the past 6 years. She's loved on all of our South Church kids, poured her heart into building story baskets, dreaming up pageant costumes, carving pumpkins, and planning bulletin boards. She's shown up for countless game nights, jumped into all sorts of classes, prepped crafts, written stories, cuddled babies, and generally sweetened everything she's touched. And most especially, she has given her whole heart to our youth group. Cat is so much the reason we have such a thriving youth community here at South Church. Sunday by Sunday, week after week, she has helped them deepen and grow in relationship with one another and with the larger world. She and I have taken the youth on so many trips, from Orland, Maine to Ohio, West Virginia, Louisiana, Tijuana, and Alabama. We've gotten to deepen connections with a bunch of amazing youth advisors in that time, and I can't describe the pride that Cat and I share at the end of every single one of those journeys. Few people have a better understanding of the deep gifts that come with committing to be in relationship with children and teens. Cat is moving on from her position here at South Church after today. I don't know how to say thank you for all the gifts you've shared, Cat, but I can say without a doubt that those gifts will continue to grow and bloom within our community and beyond for years to come. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Saying this goodbye is tempered by the fact that you will be staying in Kittery and you've promised to still come hang out with us here at church. But this truly is the end of an era. I will miss you. I already do. Thank you so much for everything. I hope the adventures ahead of you include just as much joy and wonder as these past years have held. Jenny?
Cat is magnetic. Everyone's drawn to Cat, and everyone loves Cat. Cat is so comfortable in her own body and in her own heart and knows exactly the right words at the right time. Cat's always up for silliness, which is my favorite thing in anyone. And Cat, you are such an amazing role model for kids and youth and adults. You're grounded. You speak from your heart, even in tough conversations. You are a you and you, a you through and through, and we so will miss you.
Cat, for the last 5 years, you and Kirsten have always been constant, always there, always reliable, and so much more than just a coworker. Cat, you've become such a great friend, a confidant, a leader, a teacher, and most importantly, a lover of my dogs and my kids. Sharing an office with you for 3 years was an absolute blast. Stuffing Easter eggs, building shelves, moving furniture, organizing books, trying on costumes, laughing, oh, the laughing. Work days have always been brighter with you there, and to say that I'll miss you is an understatement. I truly hope that you land where your wings are meant to take you, just remember to fly back every so often and say hi. I love you bunches, and I will miss you the most. You've been a wonderful friend, and I really hope that you continue to do so.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Have you heard of the Uncanny Valley? The Uncanny Valley describes a situation in which a machine looks so eerily almost, but not quite human, that it just creeps people out. As robots, CGI, and the like get better, they go from obviously being a caricature, and therefore acceptable, to being too close, but not quite the real thing. Still distinguishable, and therefore very visibly wrong. I don't have children, but I am an uncle, a godparent by marriage, to Lydia, my 8-year-old niece. There's something about aunt and uncle in-laws. I think they too fall in an uncanny valley, too close to being biological family to turn away, but too far away to trust fully. Try to be cognizant of this with my niece, following Lydia's lead and playing by Lydia's rules. My brother and I were not always so lucky. Our aunt, by marriage, is a bird photographer and wildlife expert. So when she asked us one evening on our family camping trip if we want to go on a snipe hunt, despite my skepticism, we both said yes. We went a couple 100 yards from our campsite and shined the flashlight into a paper bag set on its side. Did I think I was being pranked? Yeah. Yet, despite having overheard something about snipe hunts and getting the sense there was a joke involved, I also knew snipe are a real kind of bird. Some creatures are drawn to lights. My aunt knows a lot about birds, and my brother seemed really into it. Most kids maybe would have watched the bag for 5 minutes. Pretty sure we lasted at least an hour. We grew up fishing and knew how to be patient. When we finally returned to our campsite, we at least tried to flip the prank. We shook the bag as we walked up, pretending we got our snipe. I don't think anyone bought it. But my brother did get the last laugh. He likes to cook, so he took blueberry pancake making duty the next morning. But for one set of pancakes, which were made special, he gave those ones to our aunt. She ate them dutifully, thanking him. He seemed skeptical about something. She doesn't like olives, or so she thinks, or thought. My brother had swapped out the blueberries for black olives. Let me tell you, they are a backwoods camping delicacy. Also, turns out olives look a lot like blueberries when they're in a pancake. These stories about my aunt and my interactions with my niece make me think about the uncanny valley, the things that often hide in plain sight until we notice them and then cannot look away. I love the way Willow Young described this during her homily last week. 2020 is the year where we as a society, as a country, as individuals are brought into the light and have the chance to be fully seen. 2020 is where we see the experienced story of discrimination, and this is the year we see our allies with 2020 clarity. I too feel like many of our social ills and social healings are now suddenly in the spotlight on the big screen. Let us remember as we go about our lives and about our play how to visit the uncanny valley, how to watch for it, and how to come back again. And as we face up to ourselves and wrestle with how we create peaceful, durable, whole communities, let's remember the lessons of the olives. Okay. As I light my chalice today, and as we light our chalice today in our sanctuary, in our homes, and in our hearts, let us consider these words from Jay Asher in 13 Reasons Why. You can't stop the future. You can't rewind the past. The only way to learn the secret is to press play. Please join me in reciting and practicing our mission statement. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community.
Good morning, everybody, and happy summer. This month, our RE groups explored a story and then created props and costumes, and we recorded them acting out the story. We had a lot of fun, and we had some really great conversations. We'll continue this format through the summer, and if any kids or adults or anyone of any age would like to join us, then we'd love to have you. You can contact me or see our RE website for details. And now I present to you The Truth Crushed Down, written by Christopher Buice and performed by South Church Friends.
Once upon a time, there was a very greedy queen who had lots and lots of gold, but she wanted even more gold, so she decided she would order her army to attack the neighboring kingdom and steal all their gold. The queen called all her soldiers into her courtyard and told them her plan. The soldiers agreed to obey her orders. They drew their swords and lifted their shields and marched off to battle. But the soldiers were not gone long before they started returning without their swords and shields. This made the queen feel furious.
What happened? I told you to go fight in a battle.
We were on our way, Your Highness, when we came across an apple tree, and the tree spoke to us. It said,
"All men are brothers, and all women are sisters. All the people of the earth are one family. Be wise and lay down your swords and shields and study war no more."
It seemed to us that the tree made sense, so that is what we did.
The queen was furious, and she vowed to get rid of the tree that had ruined her plans. She waited until midnight, and then she crept out of the castle, walking across the fields until she came to the apple tree. The queen took out her axe and chopped down the tree, but she was still mad that she stomped on the fallen until it was crushed down to the earth. Then the queen walked back to her castle with a smile on her face. The next day, the queen called her soldiers to the courtyard. She gave them new swords and new shields and told them to obey her orders and go attack the neighboring kingdom. The soldiers were afraid of the queen, so they did as they were told. But the soldiers were not gone long before they started returning without their swords and shields. This made the queen feel furious.
I told you to go fight a battle.
We were on our way, but we came to the spot where we saw the apple trees yesterday. You wouldn't believe it, but there were 20 apple trees there today, and they were all saying the same thing.
All men are brothers, and all women are sisters. All the people of the earth are one family. Be wise and lay down your swords and shields and study war no more.
And the trees made sense, so that's what we did.
The queen was red with anger.
Those blasted trees! Tonight I will sneak out and chop down every last one.
And that is what she did. But she was still mad after chopping down all the trees that she jumped up and down on them until they were crushed into the earth, and called all the soldiers to the courtyard and gave them new swords and new shields, and ordered them once again to attack the neighboring kingdom. The soldiers were afraid of the queen, so they obeyed her. But the soldiers had not been gone long when they began returning without their swords and shields.
I told you to go to battle. Why did you disobey me?
Well, you wouldn't believe it, but in the same place where there were 20 apple trees yesterday, there is now an entire forest of trees, and they're all saying...
The queen didn't wait to hear the rest. She knew just what those trees were saying. She ran out of the castle, and there she saw a forest of trees that stretched as far as the eye could see. The queen began to cry and scream because she knew there was no way she could chop down so many trees.
Can it be that a powerful queen like myself can be stopped by a few trees?
Well, are you asking me?
Turning around, the queen saw an old man leaning against the castle walls. His hair and beard were long and gray, and so was his mustache, and his clothes were well worn.
Well, do you have an answer? If so, please tell me.
Well, it seems to me that you are a very powerful queen.
Yes, indeed, I am.
And since you are so powerful, you can take any tree that offends you and chop it into little pieces and crush it into the ground.
You are quite right. You are quite right there.
But the apple tree spoke the truth. All men are brothers, and all women are sisters, and all people of the earth are family. You may be a powerful queen, But there is no queen on earth more powerful than the truth, for truth crushed to the earth will rise again.
Today's offering can be given via the Giving tab on the South Church website. Our offering this month is being shared with Black Lives UU and diverse and revolutionary UU multicultural ministry. Drum is a Unitarian Universalist people of color ministry and anti-racist collective, bringing lay and religious professionals together to overcome racism through resistance and transform Unitarian Universalism through our multicultural experience. In 2015, a group of Black Unitarian Universalists met at the Movement for Black Lives convening in Cleveland, Ohio. The convening had hundreds of attendees, and a dozen or so Black UUs in attendance dreamed of a cohesive, national, vibrant community of Black Unitarian Universalists. Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism formed out of several conversations among Black UUs at that gathering, and their work continues to expand the power and capacity of Black UUs within our faith. Please give as you are able.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine.
Hide it under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine.
Hide it under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine.
Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
We now offer a time of communal thanksgiving, grieving, and prayer as we hold a moment for each other. I welcome us to join our voices together by sharing and offering our prayers via the chat. Meditation on play. Take a moment to sit back and relax. Gently close your eyes and breathe deeply into your abdomen. Feel yourself in your body right now, in this moment. As you breathe, allow your body to completely and fully relax. Once you feel relaxed and centered, let your imagination bring you back in time. Visualize yourself as a child, doing something you did in the past, gave you the sense of unfettered joy, of time suspended, total involvement, of wanting to do this thing again and again. Pause and take notice. Are you inside or outside? Are you moving around or still? Are you with others or alone? Does it involve storytelling, nature, book, or sport? Are you exploring, competing, directing, creating, collecting? What does it feel like? Look like? Smell like? What do you hear? Try to remember the feeling that you had in your capture. When you are ready, and in your own time, you can slowly open your eyes and come back to this moment and this time. Take a moment to note how you feel right now.
Sometimes, especially recently, it seems like there is no end to human suffering. Some of it is caused by nature, such as a virus. Some of it is harm people inflict on each other, such as brutality and dehumanization. On top of all this collective trauma we are experiencing, some of us are still going through our personal challenges, health problems, financial difficulties, car accidents, loss of loved ones. We as UUs, dare I say, by definition, tend to take the weight of the world and put it on our own shoulders. Our heart bleeds for people we have never met. Injustice anywhere becomes our sole responsibility. How do we cope with that burden? How do we not wilt? How do we not despair, lose hope, or become cynical? Well, today I wanted to talk to you about one of the ways to invigorate your soul: play. Now, decades of research show that play is critical in intellectual, physical, emotional, and social development at all ages. I know some of you might ask, like I did, how do I dare seek enjoyment while the world aches? Well, I anticipated that question, so I brought in reinforcements. Nobel Peace Prize laureates, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, have endured decades of exile and soul-crushing violence of oppression in their respective countries and communities. Yet, they remain the two most joyful people on the planet. In his book, The Book of Joy, Douglas Abrams documents their conversations over the course of the week, and he notices that most of the time the two of them are goofing around and laughing. There are a couple of stories that are being told about them. For example, when they were about to go on stage and the Dalai Lama was still being silly, Desmond Tutu turned to him and said, "The cameras are on, act like a holy man." Another time, when the Archbishop was about to visit an eye-popping mansion in Las Vegas, everybody was nervous to see how he would react to such lavish surroundings. He walked in, looked around, and declared, "I was wrong. I do want to be rich." Abrams writes, sometimes these two seem more of a comedic duo as much as the two venerable spiritual leaders. Just the pain exists in the world doesn't mean all joy can be overlooked. We started out playing quite naturally. When we were children, the spontaneous activity of unstructured play, when we make up our own games and we make up our own rules and we're not afraid of being silly, of looking silly, was part of our daily life. The importance of childhood play memories was highlighted to me by another spiritual source, Disney. The movie Inside Out captures human psyche by making girls' emotions, fear, disgust, joy, sadness, main characters. It also depicts 5 personality islands that are built out of her core childhood memories. 5. There's a family island, there is a friendship island, honesty island, there's a hockey island because it's a big part of her life, and there is a goofball island. Silliness gets its own island in our personalities. Of course, our best memories are connected to the play, and those who played with us warm our heart long after they're gone. I have to tell you a little bit about my family. My parents came to Moscow, Russia, in early 1960s as students from a city in Uzbekistan called Samarkand. Now, their parents and grandparents came to Samarkand seeking better life at some point 100 years ago from places such as Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Tatarstan. I hope you're writing this down. There will be a geography quiz later on. So although I grew up in Moscow, I spent most of my childhood summers in Samarkand visiting my grandparents. It was about 4-hour flight. Samarkand is a beautiful ancient city in Central Asia with numerous madrasas and mosques and minarets and mausoleums. It gets very hot in the summer, like today in the sanctuary. So a lot of people have pergolas over their yards that are holding grapevines for the shade. But it wasn't eating the grapes off the vine or eating the cherries off the tree by the bucket that holds my most precious memories. I remember Valery. Now, Valery was my father's much younger brother. He lived with his parents even after he got married, as many people in Asia do. So I got to spend time with him every time I visited them, and some of the times he visited us in Moscow. You see, Valery was a very talented piano player. He was one of those people who could play the instrument, the song they've never heard, after you hum a few bars to them. And he would play and I would sing. And he would play and I would dance. And our time together was spent on these makeup shows. We would rehearse a few numbers and put up a show for the rest of the family. Now, he was not just my favorite. He was his mother's favorite. He was everybody's favorite. My mother, often tired and exhausted and overworked, who barely smiled during my childhood, would laugh and clap when Valery was around. There is a picture from the late 70s, I hope you can see it, that depicts me dressed in every scarf my mother owns at the time, and Valery having a folk Armenian outfit that we borrowed from my brother and a silly hat, and we're about to put on a show for the family. Now, my father, who's also a creator of my Goofball Island, would have to make up a huge introduction for us. And now, the people's artists of the Soviet Union, Anna and Valery Arustamov. And there we went. I was just thinking, Valery would be 70 this year. Except as so many brilliant artists, he left us early. He died at a young age to the greatest grief of his family. But his smile and his music and the way we played together are the best childhood memories I cherish. Now I try to fill my children's Goofball Island. I didn't do it enough with my daughter Victoria because it was my turn to be overtired and exhausted and overworked mother, and I was single mother, but now I'm making an extra effort with my 8-year-old Sasha. Now Sasha has his own imaginative play. He's not a crazy dancer. He is a stormtrooper or clone trooper or shock trooper from the Star Wars. I can never get them straight. Over the last 3 months, every time we went on a hike just to get out of the house, it was never a hike. It would be a secret mission to an unknown planet of Adams Point, Urban Forestry Center, Wagon Hill Farm. Since we don't allow guns in the house, Sasha would have to get creative, arming himself with wooden daggers and plastic bow and arrow, and sometimes even a hose nozzle. And everybody we would meet on the hike would have to pass a test. The password is hello. If they say it back to us, then they are on our side. If they don't, we would have to report them to the command center immediately through our special radio equipment located in our secret invisible helmets. Bang. Sasha would stay in character for hours. At first, my husband Stephen and I were reluctant to participate in the silliness for that long, but then we realized that those characters provided such a needed mental break from often harsh reality. So if you have kids around, take a cue from them, play with them. Even if you don't have kids around, you have to make play a bigger part of your life. How do you do it? Well, I have a story for that too. About 5 years ago, while still reeling from the sudden death of my best friend, I went to a grief workshop at Kripalu Yoga Center in the Berkshires. And one of the questions that was asked of us that I would like you to probably answer at some point is, what can you do on a daily basis to make your life 5% more authentic? Now, you have to understand, by then I've been in the United States for more than 20 years. I was an American MBA. I was a corporate CPA. I spent my time heading up the internal audit department of a multi-million-dollar corporation. I made presentations to the board of directors. I dealt with the Wall Street bankers. I was a middle-aged mother of two driving a Lexus. But that question brought me back to my childhood and to the unbridled joy I felt performing with Valery. So for me, the answer was dancing. You see, movement is basic play. It lights up our brain. It fosters learning. It makes us more adaptable. It makes us more resilient. So when you're feeling like you're going through a hard time, just move your body. Stand or hop on one foot. Go for a brisk walk. Skip. Or just dance. So that year, I quit my corporate job and I got trained to be a Zumba instructor. Zumba is a dance fitness program based on Latin music. I didn't make it my career. I didn't need to. I'm still involved in my profession of accounting, now only from the academic perspective. But it allowed me to make dancing a bigger part of my life. When we moved to Portsmouth 3 years ago, I offered to teach Zumba at the Portsmouth Senior Center, and I've been doing it ever since, several times a week. Over the last 3 months, because we couldn't leave our homes, we made the classes virtual and we made them daily so we could see each other and we could move together more often. This allows me to combine my love of dance and my desire to serve the community. And I'm honoring my 7-year-old self and my Valery in the process. Now, my students, whose ages go from 55 to 92, they know grief. They know loss. Over the years, I have watched some of them lose their partners, lose their siblings, lose their dear friends, and some, like my grandmother, lose their children. We cry together, we hold each other, and then we dance. Yet they dance. Now, you don't have to play all the time to feel fulfilled. In fact, play is just the catalyst. Getting just a little bit of true play makes positive effect throughout your life. It makes you more productive and happier in everything you do. After spending a week with the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Tutu, Abrams wrote, I often felt like for these two men, holiness and lightheartedness were indivisible. So my hope for you is to discover or rediscover that thing that invigorates your soul, that makes your heart light, and make it a bigger part of your life. May it be so.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you know joy. And don't forget to visit your goofball island once in a while.